course that people can watch it.
Well, headed up to Eugene, Oregon, and it's especially, I think it was the 2 years ago, the national championship season that you guys really, I guess a couple years ago, were really successful, and I think past years you guys have done well up here at this event.
You know, I love Covered Bridge. It's one of the closest regattas that we attend, and so travel really does affect your ability to do well. And so we'll be lucky enough to race there twice this season. We'll race there at Covered Bridge, and then we'll do a regional championships in the first weekend of May. But you know, a lot rides on this weekend. This will be our first real national rank from the West region because all the opponents will be there. So we'll face off with Western for the first time, and you know that's always they're a perennial powerhouse, so we expect them to be fast. The unfortunate part, seeing them so late in the season, of course, is that you only have 2 weeks before you face off with them again, and then you're done. And so a lot rides on this weekend. We've been really trying to kind of train and prepare for what it's going to be like. The way that they've divided the events, we'll be racing in the Division 1-2 final that happens at about 8-10 in the morning. So we get out there pretty early, and there's 8 boats across, and there's 8 lanes at this particular race course, so it should be very intense.
Now you guys practice obviously on the bay, but when you go to an event like this, how do you prepare? I mean, you guys raced in Sacramento, but obviously the difference, I guess, in the water.
You know, there's just, Chris and I have talked about this before. There's never a point during practice where the water is not moving at Humboldt. And so it's very challenging. I never thought that I would say that we've run out of room, but today we traveled so many places on Humboldt Bay that we actually had to turn around and go back in another direction, and then turn around and go back in the other direction just to be able to get the workout done. So I don't know if that means that we're getting faster, or if it's just that the tides were moving and then they stopped at practice and then they started moving again. But it's really difficult to get ideal split times for how fast you're going. So when we go to Eugene, of course, this is exciting because it's a certified buoy 2,000 meter course that will give us an opportunity, hopefully not moving, but with the weather, if you have a headwind or a tailwind, that's going to affect your splits as you come down the course.
You talked about the importance of the teams and the rankings. Any schools you guys excited to kind of be going up against or to see up there?
We'll race against University of Portland and Seattle University. They're both in the same Jesuit league, and they're always fast. And Western's raced them a couple of times this season, and they've beaten them. So, we're all kind of waiting to see what pans out. But we'll get to face off with UCSD again. We haven't seen them since Sacramento. They raced last weekend at San Diego Crew Classic against nationally ranked number 2 Berry University. And they did very well in the preliminary rounds, but in the final round they did very poorly. This is their home course. We really were hoping to see a repeat of Saturday's races, so we're not quite sure what happened to them. And then of course we'll see Seattle Pacific again as well.
At this point for you guys, what do you feel like are from the different boats? What is your strongest field right now?
I'd really have to say the varsity. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Our strategy and how to train them in the fall was different than how we trained our novice athletes. So traditionally, we've only rode on the water 3 days of the week in the fall. This year, we rode 5, and I think that makes a substantial difference in their base fitness. There's nothing you can control when they go home over winter break. So we did find a few kids fell off the mark, but for the most part, the fitness is pretty deep, and we're having to reevaluate what we're doing over the next coming weeks because we feel like we've gotten in the volume, and now maybe we need to just really specify on the short-term high intensity to figure out how to get them to dig a little deeper to draw from that well that maybe we've not actually drawn from in a while. So it's I think it's going to be strategy, and I think the ladies all think we have a big dartboard in the back that we use when we're putting together the training schedule, but a lot of thought is going into this.
Great.